This story's not a joke. I'm sad to tell you, this story is not a joke. It's real. If you have any doubts about how desperate the media are to compete with each other, how money matters to every single publication, every TV station, every radio station, if you have any doubt at all, and by the way, those of you who think our show is a piece of crap that appeals to the lowest common denominator, many of you have said this to us, well, let's talk about an educational publication right now. It's called the National Geographic. Everybody listening knows the National Geographic, the ultimate educational magazine. Yes, the National Geographic. Where else would you get 14-page anthropological studies of developing African countries? Where else would you learn about native Indian cultures of South America? The National Geographic, an educational magazine. It's been around forever. But I imagine the National Geographic is facing some of the same pressures everybody is. So, I must read you this story, and again, I'm not making this up. It's not a joke. It is 100% serious as a heart attack. Here it is. It's from Reuters. There are bare breasts, naked bottoms, and a cover girl wearing 3 well-placed shells and a bit of sand. But this is no girly magazine. It's historical, it's cultural, and it's definitely geographic. It's National Geographic, the venerable yellow-bordered magazine, long a repository of gorgeous family-friendly photography, is publishing its first swimsuit issue. It's coming out this weekend. Time to roughly coincide with the publication of a racy annual look at bathing beauties by Sports Illustrated. The National Geographic issue is meant to offer lighthearted diversion when that seems to be in distinctly short supply. We just wanted to have a little fun, especially when it's so cold in the winter, said Bill Allen, the editor-in-chief of National Geographic. He said, I think that this country could use a little bit of lightness and fun right now, and we've had a pretty tough year and a half in this country. So as the United States girds for war and weathers a shaky economy, here comes Hannah Hobensack, a fashion design student in Sydney, Australia, who posed for the cover shot in Hawaii wearing 3 scallop shells and partially submerged in slightly sandy water. The cover is one of the few pictures specifically shot for the special large format edition, Allen said. Most are from the magazine's archive showing how people dressed for swimming over the past 100 years. I'm not making this up. In a telephone interview, Allen, the editor-in-chief, said, we had looked at all of the pictures that were coming in for this out of the archives. Literally tens of thousands. None of us were really satisfied that it was bringing things up to date. He explained why they sought a new photo for the cover. He sent veteran National Geographic photographer Susan Lean to Hawaii, quote, to find something that would really show what the contemporary feeling of bathing suits and the whole enjoyment of fun in a natural setting would be. Sort of bring us all the way from our history back in the 1900s to the present. Oh, come on. I mean, I haven't had this much manual manipulation in a couple of nights. Unbelievable. Says here that one of the earliest photographs is from 1900 showing a Red Cross swimming instructor demonstrating strokes while propped up on a stool, wearing the cover-up swimsuit of the day with only her head and arms uncovered. When wet, such a costume would have weighed about 22 pounds, the magazine said. A pair of bare backsides from Cable Beach's clothing optional zone at Broome, Australia, is a more modern archival image from 1988. Says here that 2 more posteriors were shown in a 1908 shot of surveyors near a rocky pool along the Canada-Alaska border. I'm getting hot. How about you? A photo from 1917 showed 2 bare-breasted women from the Marquesas Islands, quote, where women dressed simply for the Polynesian weather to the dismay of Western missionaries. This is the sort of partial nudity that made National Geographic a must-read, or at least a must-ogle for generations of curious adolescents. But Allen said he saw no problem with this image or any other in the collection. Now, I could read the rest of the story, but why bother? You get the idea. National Geographic, a swimsuit edition. That's how bad it's getting. Now, can I tell you something? And this is going to kind of take us where we want to go here. You know, when I was a kid, this is an absolutely true story. I had an uncle named Ray. And my Uncle Ray was an employee of the United States Post Office, which is what they called the United States Postal Service when I was a kid. The United States Post Office. And among his tasks at the post office was to work the dead letter office. And if you've ever seen that old Christmas movie called Miracle on 34th Street, you know what the dead letter office is. I guess its most well-known function is when millions of kids send letters to the address Santa Claus, North Pole. The letters have to go somewhere. And so they end up in a place called the dead letter office, which has this huge, you can only describe it as being like a big dumpster. And it is where they send all the mail that not only cannot be delivered, it's mail that can't be returned to the sender. Many times people put an address on an envelope and it doesn't have a return address. The post office attempts to deliver the letter. They can't because the address doesn't exist or the person has moved. They try to send the letter back, there's no return address. So it goes to the dead letter office. Santa Claus mail all goes to the dead letter office. But that's not the only stuff that goes to the dead letter office. Other stuff goes there too. For example, magazines. You know how many people order a magazine and then move and never remember to change the address? And the company that published the magazine doesn't want the magazine sent back to them. They don't want to pay the postage to have it returned to them. So the post office has directions from major magazines to just simply discard the magazine if they can't deliver it. So when I was a kid, I couldn't wait for my Uncle Ray to show up at the house. Because Uncle Ray would come with magazines. You know, he worked at the post office and he knew he would be coming to visit my parents. And so he would collect a bunch of magazines. And I mean good magazines and current magazines. I mean, they had like part of the cover snipped off or whatever to eliminate the address. But these magazines would have been burned or destroyed. So my uncle would come with Sports Illustrated, Time, Popular Science, Newsweek, all kinds of magazines. And he also, in attempting to do something nice and educational for me, he would also bring copies of, you guessed it, the National Geographic. Now, one thing when I was a kid that parents didn't know and probably still don't know is that when you're 10, 11, 12 and you can't get your hands on a copy of Playboy magazine, but you still want to, do a little self-examination, you have to find other ways to do it. I mean, nowadays, you could use, if you're, 11, 12, you could use the Victoria's Secret catalog that your mom's been getting. That's the catalog your mom gets right before she gets the glamour shot taken over there at Sears. She goes to Victoria's Secret, and the catalog starts coming. And anybody who's ever bought anything from Victoria's Secret knows that once they get your name on that list, it's like Radio Shack. They are never letting you go. You're on that list. The catalog comes twice a week. And I know a lot of you young boys out there are very familiar with Heidi Klum and some of the other inhabitants of the Victoria's Secret catalog. I know you are. Now, of course, these women are, well, dressed, but they're about as undressed as you're ever going to get your hands on a picture at 12 years old. It's just that that's pornography when you're 11 or 12. It's like Victoria's Secret catalog. When I was a kid, you looked for anything you could find. Before my Uncle Ray started showing up at the house with magazines from the Dead Letter Office, I used to use the Sears catalog, the underwear section of the Sears catalog. Absolutely. I mean, when I was a kid, those were some of the hottest shots you could see. You didn't have Christina Aguilera appearing in, like Maxim or Rolling Stone or anything. You didn't have that. So you had the Sears catalog. And those chicks were about as undressed as they ever got outside of Playboy, which when you're 12 is only a rumor. My mother didn't notice the pages got sticky, Gary. All we knew is that, well, put it this way, my mother didn't buy underwear at Sears. She bought back-to-school clothing and washing machines at Sears. But the great thing, it was like the perfect crime. If the pages were sticking together, nobody would notice, because who would buy underwear at Sears anyway? Just some, softcore pornography for the youngsters. But here was the thing, and this was the beauty part, okay? When I'm a kid, what do you get, You get, like, TV shows where chicks are, like, kind of scantily clad, sort of, I guess. And the Sears catalog, and, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, the New York Daily News, in the wintertime, used to publish a half-page shot of some chick in a bikini, like every day. And that was about as close as you got to porno. So my Uncle Ray would come to the house from the Dead Letter Office, and he had, the usual pile of very respectable magazines, Sports Illustrated, Popular Science, Time, Newsweek, TV Guide. I used to get all these magazines for free. And, of course, the most educational one of them all, the National Geographic. And my mother was all too happy to see me reading the National Geographic because, come on, we've all seen those stupid documentaries on TV. We all know the National Geographic song. Just the song itself bespeaks education. You're about to be educated here. You're about to get education. It just has that educational sound to it. That doesn't sound like pornography. That sounds like educational music. But parent would see the National Geographic coming into the house and say, "Hey, what are you doing? What, are you trying to corrupt my kid?" Nobody would say that. My mother was thrilled to see that Uncle Ray cared enough to bring over the National Geographic, and he used to bring it. And the beauty part of that is what my mother didn't know, and what many mothers didn't know at the time, was that the National Geographic, in doing their anthropological research, frequently sent their photographers to, well, beyond third world countries. I mean, completely underdeveloped parts of the world, where the women were completely overdeveloped. And many of these countries and islands that the National Geographic would explore, the women didn't wear any clothes. What was the point? You were living near the equator, or you were living in deep, dark Africa or something like that, and, it gets hot there, and so a lot of women just don't wear anything. And the National Geographic, ever vigilant in their attempts to document everything anthropological, had some really great shots of completely naked women. In fact, my mother was a freak about, locking herself in the bedroom until she was dressed in 6 layers of clothing. The first naked chick I ever saw was in the National Geographic. It was a feature on Namibia. I'll never forget. I was like 11. And so there I am, flipping the pages of the National Geographic, and I cannot believe my good fortune. Because here I am, educating myself with the National Geographic, and I get to see naked chicks. Now, granted, these are native chicks, and some of them had their lips spread out, and I mean all four of their lips. Some of them had, some of them had plates in their lip, that's right. Some of them had, honestly, they had boobs that literally were dragging along the ground because they'd had so many children. The boobs were pointing south and beyond. But you want to know something? Not only were some of them actually in pretty good shape, the ones who were in pretty good shape I think were like 13 and 14, and here I am, I'm 11. And I'm looking at 14-year-old girls. Now, I'm a white boy, and of course, just about all, by the way, the not-so-subtle racism of National Geographic was apparent to me. I don't know about anybody else, because most of the naked chicks were all, like, people of color. They were black and brown. They were, Indians or black people or whatever. And page after page, and I want to tell you, in some of these countries, the life expectancy is probably 38, 40 years old. So some of these girls are like fully developed at like 12, and you're looking at these naked pictures of 12-year-old chicks. Now again, I'm not talking about this as a dirty old man. I'm 11 years old, and I'm looking at pictures of 12, 13, 14-year-old girls. Already they've got one child, and there they are in some foreign country somewhere. They're all naked. And so as my masturbatory habits began as a youngster, after I'd moved up from the Sears catalog, I moved right into the National Geographic. And as I've said on this show many times, it pretty much accounts for, I think, why I've had this interest in women from third world countries, black women, brown women. I've just had this fascination because the earliest erotica I remember was the National Geographic. What I wanted to find out from you is, without getting graphic on us, please, what materials do you use to pleasure yourself?
This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800. Let's say hello here, too. Look at all these calls. Joe on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Big Tom.
Hey, Joe.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Doing a radio show here, Joe.
Oh, really? Anyway, I would have never guessed. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I was a spoiled child, man. My dad had the old 12-foot C-band satellite dish with the old black box.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, so I got to see it firsthand, man. I graduated from the Sears catalog to the elite. American Triple Ecstasy, baby. I learned it all young. I was definitely keeping some women happy when I turned the old 16. I had all the tricks up my sleeve, and spinning them around and doing all the wild stuff.
But you did. What I say is true. I was obsessed with black women, Latin women, American Indian women, because that's what I saw on the National Geographic as a kid.
I think that's probably why I'm obsessed with getting as many women as I can, like the guys that I used to see, man.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know all about it, pal.
Well, good talking to you, Tom, man. I'll let everybody else get their thoughts in, man. Take care. Take me out with a bong hit, brother.
Here you go, Joe. Ben on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Ben.
Yes.
You busy over there?
What's that?
You busy over there?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Did you want something?
I wanted to talk to Tom.
Oh, I can set that up. Hang on a second. The Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Ben on the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom.
Ben.
Just had a comment on that. I grew up the same way you did with the National Geographic after the sports or the Sears catalog.
Sears catalog comes first if you still get it, you know.
Oh, yeah. And then I actually graduated to the trying to watch the porn channel to the black and white TV, you know, the Snowflake.
Yeah.
And then also the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Uh-huh.
I absolutely loved it. You know, when you get older, you got to go for the older women there. You can't really look at all the National Geographic anymore. And
yeah.
some of the best stuff is in that Sports Illustrated, you know.
Yeah, well, I know. Believe me. All guys know.
Oh, yeah. And I'm, you know, like your last caller, you know, sort of seeing all those women when you're younger, and then you got to go and get as many as you can when you're older.
Well, thank you for that, Ben. It's Stephen on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Tom?
Not much, Stephen.
Well, you know what? It used to be when I was young, or when I was real young, it was a poster of kind of Wonder Woman.
Right.
But then we grew up. You remember how kind of 42nd Street in the Bronx kind of used to be back in the old days, right?
Yeah.
Well, then we found kind of 42nd Street, man. We'd catch that train out to there and kind of have a bunch of quarters in my pocket. And I can just say one thing. I had one arm that was normal and one arm that looked like it belonged to kind of...
One arm had kind of a curve to it.
Kind of Lou Ferrigno, man. That was one arm that was definitely getting worked out after we found out what's kind of 42nd Street. Because they didn't ask. You go to the peep show for a quarter, and you just had the whole thing right there for you.
Oh, man.
Bunch of kids from the suburbs of New York going down there was like kind of Sin City, man. And that's what you had to have with a couple of quarters in your pocket.
Sounds good to me, Stephen. Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Marie on a cell phone. Marie, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello.
I, too, grew up on the National Geographic, and you know the song to it, don't you?
Well, yeah, of course, we played it earlier.
No. Look at those natives. Look at those natives. They have no clothes.
Let's sync you up with the song here, okay? You can sing to the music. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
We're going to feed it down the line to you. You can sing along. Here we go.
Look at those natives. Look at those natives. They have no clothes.
Is that the whole song?
That's the whole song.
Now, did you sing that when you were a kid or as an adult?
As an adult.
You did?
I actually heard it on the radio. It was pretty funny.
All right, we're going to try you one more time. This time for posterity. We might use it again on the air after we record you doing it right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Look at those natives. Look at those natives. They have no clothes.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.
1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Christian on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, long time, first time.
Thank you, Christian.
Hey, back when I was like 6, I got caught in a library looking at old surfing magazines.
Uh-huh.
They used to have topless, I guess they call them Pan American or Aloha ladies, you know?
Yeah.
That was way better than the National Geographic.
Oh.
National Geographic had the bone through the nose, or it was the tribal effect. Okay, fine, it was wild. But the surfing mags had chicks on the beach, in the surf, no top.
Oh.
Now my girlfriend and I call it racing. She looks at me at, like, you know, midnight, we're about to fall asleep. She asks if I want to race. So I don't need a magazine anymore, but then it was a surfing mag.
Of course. Sounds good to me, Christian.
Yeah, that was the ticket.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. It's Steve on the Tom Leykis Show.
Long time to the old 3-digit station.
Oh, man.
Hey, but anyways, listen. Tom, you there?
No, I left the room.
No, yeah, I don't think so. Okay, I just want to say that when I was in high school, me and my buddies, my friend had a Datsun pickup, not Nissan, Datsun, the old one. And we used to go to those porno printeries off Sherman Way near Fulton.
Uh-huh.
And we would go at night on a Saturday night, and we would pull into the other side, you know, we'd go over the fence, into the dumpsters, load up the back of that pickup, and it had all the hardcore, you know, misprints from the, you know, those places are gone now, but there were a whole mess of them over there. But anyways, we would go to, like, the churches in the area, and late Sunday night, you know, Saturday night, dump out all the hardcore porno in the parking lot of the churches for Sunday morning. So, you know, when we didn't keep, we presented to the church. And that was our tithing.
That sounds pretty good to me. The Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800. Is there somebody else that says they can sing the National Geographic theme song, Kay?
Yes.
You have, do you have the same lyrics or more lyrics?
Oh, no. These outbeat her by a long shot.
All right, so you can sing along with the music if we play it for you.
I can.
Are you ready?
I am.
I'm going to count you down, and then the music is going to start on my final beat here. 3, 2, 1.
Look at those natives. Look at those natives. They have their breasts. Look at those natives. Look at those natives. What a big penis.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Is that not good enough?
Well, you were a little behind the music there, Kay.
I cut out when it comes on. So
right,
how about if I sing it and then you can dub it in with it?
Well, all right, we'll try that. We'll see if you're at the right beat, okay? Here we go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Look at those natives. Look at those natives with their bare breasts. Look at those natives. Look at those natives. They've got a big penis.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hi to Jeff on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello,
Long time,
Jeff.
First time.
Cool.
There was nothing like laying down in front of the television watching Catwoman. Didn't matter which one. That blue, tight skin outfit.
Yeah, Julie Newmar, Eartha
Kitt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
Huge breasts.
That's all I had to say.
All right, thank you for that.
Do you have one to take me out? Oh God, wait. Oh God, never mind.
All right. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Jason on a cell phone. Jason, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I got a little topic for you here. A little story happened when I was 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
Trying to find out about women.
Yeah.
You know, my dad was pretty cool, so I thought, hey, I'm going to go rummaging around underneath the bed in the closet.
Right.
See if I can't find anything to find out what is going on with chicks.
Right.
So I'm looking around for about a half an hour, and I find one Playboy only. So I go, great, hit the jackpot. I go through looking around for about 5-10 minutes, and I find my cousin posing nude in Playboy.
No.
Yeah, I am completely serious.
How old was she?
She had to be 23. I was 12 at the time. This was probably back in '82. She was a stewardess for American Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
And she was posing with a Coors can in her hand with no bottom, squatting. I never looked at my cousins the same way again, I'll tell you that.
Now, Jason, here's the question I have to ask when I get one of these kinds of calls. So,
Go ahead.
Did that stop you from pleasuring yourself?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, you got a picture of your cousin there.
I don't care. She was hot. She was hot then. She's hot now. And it was kind of freaky when I think about it now because I'm 30. But man, when you're 12 or 13, you'll pretty much just do, you'll masturbate to anything.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So would
Tom, I appreciate it.
Would you have done your cousin if you had the opportunity?
Yes, absolutely,
Really?
100%.
Wow.
She was a distant cousin. Seen her probably, once or twice every 3 or 4 years. So yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised you didn't try a little Jaeger and see what happened.
She was a little bit too old. But, different story now, though, Tom. But I had to call it because it brought back fond memories when I heard it on the radio.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Tom. Appreciate the time.
Jason, thank you. The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. What materials have you used to enhance your experience pleasuring yourself? Rick on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Tom? How's it going?
Pretty good, Rick.
All right. Tom, guess what, man? When I was 5 years old, man, I guess, just experiencing things, right? New things in life.
Uh-huh.
I bumped into my sister's Barbie dolls, man.
Uh-huh.
And you know how the little, I guess,
the breasts just pop out, those fake bumps they have.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is this?
Now, did you take her clothes off or just...
I did more than that, man. I actually built a little wannabe house when I was small, I remember, in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take her in, like, if I was like, you know, play it off like if it was my girlfriend, kiss her, and just started masturbating on there, man.
Really?
I know it sounds kind of freaky, but, you know, when you're young, it's just stupid little things.
When you're young, you're kind of freaky.
Yeah, man. Well, alrighty, Tom, take me out with a bomb in it.
All right, Rick, here you go.
No cough.
It's 1-800-5800-TOM. James on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom,
James.
you are the god.
Thank you.
Anyway, hey, dude, the 30-minute workout every morning from 10 or 6:05 to 6:35. It was like clockwork.
Really?
That was the best, dude. It was like clockwork. It wasn't wait till the next episode to try to find out what the girl was wearing. No, you knew when you turned on the TV in the morning that you got 30 minutes of some scantily clad women in leotards and 80s, you know, flash dance, you know, stockings, you know, working out to you. So it was great.
Look at you. You still think fondly about those days.
Oh, dude, do I ever? Because it's funny because I go through and ESPN or one of the channels through the mornings on Saturday mornings used to have like one of the hot looking, you know, Aloha girls or something, you know, island girls work out, you know, but then she became a muscle woman, and it was still my morning pleasure through even high school. So, you know, it was wonderful. But now they've kind of taken all that stuff off the air. Anyway, Tom, you're the god. Can you take him out with another no cough, please?
All right, James, here you go.
No cough.
It's 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Eric on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, what's that?
Hey, I got two of them, real good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Benny Hill. Remember Benny Hill with all the nasty chicks that used to walk around? My dad used to watch that crap.
Benny Hill, there's like commercials selling old tapes of that show.
Yeah. They had that one. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to be able to watch that. And us Hispanics can't really get Playboy magazines, but we used to get Lowrider magazines, bro. That's the shiznits right there, bro. Lowrider magazine, bro.
Yeah.
All sticky icky, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, those are still pretty hot if you check those out.
Yeah, oh, man, I'm telling you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was like 10 years old, man, damn, that thing was the bomb. It was off the hook. Right, Tom?
You're right, Eric.
Blow me up with, take me out with the screaming orgasm.
All right, Eric, here you go. We're finding it.
Thank you.
The button is stuck, for God's sake.
Oh, God. Oh, yes.
You ever press the button and it gets stuck? I mean in the control room, you moron. Our email address is my name. It's Tom@blowmeuptom.com.